On my Crafty Nana channel, I will share budget-friendly DIY home decor design items for every season and holiday, while adding a touch of love to each crafted piece. Let's begin our journey together. The supplies you will need to create my Furry Snowman, which is the third and last snowman in my 3-part snowman series, are 2 fish bowls, 1 styrofoam ball, which will serve as the snowman's head, white paint, white glitter, I'm using extra fine glitter, a roll of fur trim, and of course, glue and scissors. Now on to making the snowman's body. Take the largest of your fish bowls. Place the fur trim on the top rim of the bowl to measure the length of trim needed from the rim to the base of the bowl. Then cut the trim. I needed to cut about 8 strips. Once done cutting the strips of trim, they can be glued to the bowl. Make sure the fur hairs are directed downward. Initially, I glued the fur only around the rim. I wanted to make sure I could glue the trim close to each other while gluing it down and around the bowl. I wound up cutting one of the strips down to fill in a small area as I was gluing all the pieces down the sides and to the base. With the help of movie magic, the second bowl is now also covered in fur. I am now going to attach the fur bowls to each other using hot glue. Carefully apply a generous amount of glue to the rim of the bottom bowl. Try not to drip any glue. While the body is drying, I'm going to work on the snowman's head. I decided to paint the styrofoam ball white. Honestly, this can be an optional step since I'm also adding glitter. I allowed the ball to sit and dry for about 2 hours before moving on to the next step. For this step, I need my handy dandy Mod Podge. I'm also using my trusty skewer, which I'm inserting into the bottom of my ball to make it a little easier to Mod Podge and glitter it. The skewer helps to keep my hands clean. Now that I've set the glitter ball to the side, I'm opting to make my snowman hat. Feel free to skip this part if you already have one. To create this hat, I'm using an empty ribbon spool and the leftover cover to a solar light that I used in another project. I'm cutting the top and bottom off of the spool with a pair of scissors. Once the ends are off, use any glue on hand and glue the 2 pieces together. That completes the brim of the snowman's hat. To create the top, I'm placing glue around the bottom of the light cover. Once completed, I'm placing the bottom of the light cover onto the brim I just made. I found this first scarf at the Dollar Tree. I'm using it to cover the snowman's hat. Since the scarf already had side openings, I was able to easily slide my hat into it. Cut the excess fur from the hat. Using my hot glue gun, I'm gluing the fur to the top and sides of the hat. I'm cutting a hole in the bottom of the fur so the end of the solar light cover that I used can stick out. To connect the hat to the snowman's head, I'm pushing the solar light into the top of the styrofoam ball, or should I say into the top of the snowman's head, to create a hole in the top of it. I'm filling the hole with hot glue. I'm sticking the hat back into the hole and holding it down firmly until the glue adheres. I'm almost to the end. Now I have to attach the snowman's head to its body. You know, in crafting, you never throw anything away. I'm using the ribbon spool that I cut the ends off earlier as a filler to help prevent the snowman's head from sinking into its body. I'm applying glue to the bottom of the spool to keep it sturdy. To attach the head, I added hot glue to the bottom of the styrofoam ball to prevent glue from oozing onto the fur. I held it down just to let the glue set before setting it aside. We know that every respectable snowman requires a scarf, so I'm using the leftover fur from his hat. I cut the scarf in half. I used a hot glue gun to bind the fur together. I wrapped the scarf around his neck and applied a little hot glue to hold it in place. A little dab here and a little dab there until I had it exactly as I wanted it. I'm also using the same fur to make the snowman's buttons. I'm making 3 buttons. I'm covering some pearl beads that I have. I'm using hot glue to adhere the fur to the beads. And I'm using hot glue to attach the buttons to the snowman. Now for the very last piece, his face. I'm using some stick-on gems that I purchased from Michael's. The gem pack has 3 different sizes in it. I'm using the medium gems for his eyes and the smaller ones for his mouth. I actually created the nose using Crayola clay, and I painted it myself. Not too shabby. I may have actually solved my nose problem. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome, and I hope you will come back. If you enjoyed my video, please click like. If you want to get notified when my next video is available, please subscribe and click the notification bell. If you know someone who likes these kind of videos, please share, and thank you for your support. Remember to add a touch of love to each crafted piece.